it does come back, actually, as cliche as it is, to being grateful for being who you are, for having the experiences and the life that you've had and will continue to have. Because you could look at these same people and see where they are, and maybe they have an amazing life. Maybe everything is going wonderful for them. But you understand now that what they have right now is not actually what you want for your life. Welcome to the Energy Within podcast, helping you to embrace your weird, remember who you really are, and take action on your soul's purpose. My name is Carrie Jokala. I am your host. I am a Reiki master teacher, a fitness instructor, a wife, a mom to 2 little boys, and this is episode 210, I think, if I'm counting correctly, remembering correctly. If you didn't by chance listen to last week's episode about how raising your vibration is the most important work you can do while you're here on earth, I encourage you to go listen to it because I'm really proud of that episode, and I think that that message, not necessarily specifically from me, but that message in general needs to reach more people. So if that resonates with you, when you listen to the episode, please make sure you also remember to share it and spread the word. I am truly grateful from the bottom of my heart anytime anyone shares the show. So if you've been sharing, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't yet, if you find one that resonates with you, please don't be afraid to share it. And make sure you tag me if you share it to your Instagram. I am Carrie Jokala. I'm not sure how long this episode is going to be because I'm not sure how much I have to say on the topic, but I still felt like it was a topic worth talking about. If you listened to last week's episode, you know that originally for last week I was going to expand on my story, my confidence journey, growing up, what that was like, and how I got to where I am today. Because even since I recorded episode number 3, things have evolved, which makes sense because we're over 200 episodes in now. So that's a lot of time for more happenings. And I'm still going to get to that episode, but this is not the week. But I'm kind of at the same time on that topic this week. I'm just jumping ahead a little bit because I had a spark of an idea pop into my head just last night, and I think it's something that some of you need to hear to bring you some peace about who you are, why you've gone through the things that you've gone through, and I think it's important. So if you're listening, it's possible that you share a lot of similar energy with me. Maybe you've had similar experiences in how your childhood was. And in starting to record the episode that I scrapped last week, I think it's still worth mentioning here that anytime I'm asked what my childhood was like, if I had a good childhood, my knee-jerk reaction, and I should include genuine knee-jerk reaction, is that yes, I had a good childhood. But at the same time, I was also very lonely, very much struggling with my confidence. I didn't really have many friends growing up, and all things considered, as far as school went, there was a long stretch of years through most of grade school where I really didn't actually have any friends. And you'd think that in a class made up of roughly 60 kids total between 2 classrooms, that it wouldn't make sense that there would be a group of popular kids. But there still kind of was that dynamic even within such a relatively small group of kids. There was the group you would consider, the girls that everyone wanted to be friends with. And then there were me and a couple other kids who you would kind of consider the outcasts, the ones that nobody wanted to be around. And by simple default of just a couple of us being the outcasts, we would end up being left together And nothing against these girls whatsoever, but just personality-wise, in any other setting, I think it's very unlikely that we would have ever been friends, just because the personalities were really so different. Outlooks on life were different. And I would find myself often, and honestly even into adult years, wondering very strongly what it would be like to be somebody else, to have their life. What would it be like to be this person who it appeared that everyone loved, always had friends, everyone was always thinking about, wanting to be considerate for this person, helping them out, being concerned about them, asking about them, talking positively about them. And similarly, into adulthood, what must it be like? I wonder what it's like to be this person who is so successful and seems to have everything that they want, the perfect job or career, perfect relationship, perfect home, all of that. And more so as a kid, not quite so much as an adult, but even taking it a step further to wishing that I could be that person, even just for a day, just to know what it felt like and how things could be so much better if I had their life or their body or their personality. And while I'm not going to get super cliche here and lead to the conclusion about how you need to love yourself and appreciate all that's unique about you, that is still kind of the end point if you're going to skip ahead. What's that TLDR? Too long didn't read, but too long didn't listen. But I had this thought pop up into my head reminding me of how I used to think that so often. Because let's face it, when you are that alone for that long, it gets really sad. You get used to it. I don't mind being alone. That's how I recharge. I'm actually an introvert. I like my alone time. I need my alone time. But we are also social creatures just by design. We need to be around other people. We need to feel loved. We need to feel included and accepted. So you can reach that point where you really start to wonder and wish for a different life, to be somebody else who doesn't have to deal with all the crap that you have to deal with, just seemingly by being you. And as I've gone further along on this journey to stronger confidence and really starting to like who I am, embrace my weirdness, and just allow myself to be myself and not care what other people think, not in a conceited way. There's, in my opinion, a right way and a wrong way to have that attitude. And also to learn how to not take things personally, that's huge. But I've realized how far I've actually come. Because while I can sit there and honestly envy someone else's levels of success, there's a full body understanding that while I want success to that level myself, I want it as me in my own way. I no longer have this desire to live somebody else's life, if that makes sense. Because I also realized as life goes on, if you still have the ability, through social media or whatever, to kind of watch from afar other people's evolution in life. Not to say that everyone else's life has gone to crap. I'm not implying that. This isn't a movie. But just seeing the other kinds of ups and downs that these people that you may have wished you could have been, what they've ended up having to deal with in life. Doesn't mean that they're not still living a great life, but maybe you see something that they've gone through and be like, man, I'm really glad I didn't have to deal with that. Or you kind of feel sad for where they seem to have ended up. Maybe they are struggling and you used to have them up on a pedestal. And I think the only truth to come to is that we're all human. We're all on our own journeys, and life is never what it appears on the outside if you are not the one living it. We find that a lot, and especially on social media. That's everybody's best being put forward, which is fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think we need to show all of our moments of life online. And I think it would get super depressing to share so much of the sad moments, and it would just be insensitive to have everything out on the internet for everybody to see. I'm still fairly open, but I have learned to become more private as far as social media is concerned and what I share on social media as I've gotten older as well. So bring the focus back to yourself. What kind of a person are you? What have you been able to accomplish in your life? And be honest with yourself. So many times we're not honest enough with ourselves. We don't actually see what we've accomplished. So if you're having a hard time answering that, don't be afraid to ask the people around you, because you're probably just too close to it. And then you can start to acknowledge what you have actually overcome, where you've succeeded, how you've grown. So if you need that extra help, go ask somebody. I'm sure they'd be more than happy to lift you up and tell you how awesome you are. And to clarify here, and real quick, just in case this sounds different. In fact, the microphone's just laying on my chin there for a second. We're not in the car anymore. You're getting ready with me because I think this is the only way I'm going to get this done on the timeline that I want to get it done. So here we go. I am in no way telling you to go seek out these people that you maybe once had on a pedestal or wish that you could have been like, and go look and see what a shit show their life turned out to be and laugh that they're struggling and that you're in a better place. I do not mean that at all. It does come back, actually, as cliche as it is, to being grateful for being who you are, for having the experiences and the life that you've had and will continue to have. Because you could look at these same people and see where they are, and maybe they have an amazing life. Maybe everything is going wonderful for them. But you understand now that what they have right now is not actually what you want for your life. And not only is that okay, that's beautiful and amazing and empowering. And I think it helps too, especially in situations where that is the case, that person is still thriving and having a wonderful life that people could very well envy. It shows that there is plenty of success available for all of us to have. And I feel like this isn't even me speaking anymore, because this is something that I need to hear. So this is just a message that I think is coming through me for myself and you to hear. That happens a lot on this podcast. Because yeah, like I said, I think I'm repeating myself here, but in not listening back to what I've already said, because there's been a gap in recording here, I have had moments where I have come across people that say I went to school with at some point in time, and they're not down and out by any means, but I can see the struggles that they're currently going through. And I see how as much as I know that they didn't understand me, I also didn't understand them. I don't know what a lot of these kids were going through at the same time that I was going through stuff. It doesn't excuse anything that anyone might have said or did to anyone that was rude or bullying or hurtful in any way. But we can get closure from it all if we can understand everything from as many sides as possible, not just our own side. Understanding is not the same as excusing. Understanding is not the same as agreeing. But that doesn't change the fact that understanding is the key piece. And it's the one necessary thing in a lot of situations. I'm going to start getting way off topic here. And I saw a brief video. I don't know who this person was. It seemed like other people knew who this guy was, but I've never heard of him before, so I don't remember his name. I saved the video, but I'm not going to go look it up right now. But he said that most of us have the law of attraction wrong. Of course, there's so many videos like that. You've been doing this wrong your whole life. I'm like, I resent that. That's a pretty strong accusation to make. But actually, he didn't say that. I should clarify. He didn't say that the way people look at the law of attraction is necessarily wrong or that it's going to make the law not work for them. But to really understand it, the true meaning, the true explanation of the law of attraction, he says, is that we have a core frequency, like a set point, like I've kind of talked about before. And prior to seeing this video, I believe that we can increase our set point, and I think I still do, because that feels true as I say it. But regardless of whether or not we can increase our set point, because I think we can, if we do have a set core frequency, first of all, I am inclined to believe, he didn't say this, but I am inclined to believe that it is a naturally high vibration because we are beings of light. We are the frequency of love and joy, essentially. We are the higher frequencies. That's where we come from. Therefore, that is our set point. And that's why what is meant for you will not miss you, because whatever matches you on that frequency, he said, is actively trying to get to you. Like, you can't stop it, essentially. Hold that thought. It's actively trying to get to you. But we, our human side, we have the ability to block it with our beliefs and our mindset. It's not that our frequency maybe necessarily has lowered, which is an interesting concept to think about. I'm still taking this in, so I'm just reporting on it now. I don't know any more than that at the moment. But it's just that we get in our own way. Like plenty of people have talked about before. We get in our own way. And on the flip side, if we seem to constantly be attracting things that we do not want, and we can't seem to get rid of them, maybe it's not that we are attracting them, it's that we're not willing to let go. For whatever reason, whether it's a comfort zone or what, we're not willing to let go. We're holding on. We won't let it go. It's actively trying to get away from us because it doesn't belong in our frequency. It doesn't match. But we won't let it go. If we instead release the blockages, we release the things that we're trying to hold on to, these beliefs that are no longer serving us, but that have shaped our worldview and our perceptions and our feelings and our experiences for so long that we're familiar with them, so we're afraid to let them go. If we can release all of that, then we open up the pathway for the things that match our frequency that are actively trying to get in. So that said too, if we're spending so much time envying and wanting what other people have and being so focused on what we don't have, we're putting up a block. So naturally, this feels like a great segue to remind you that one of the ways, not the only way, but one of the ways, one of my favorite ways, obviously, because I'm biased, to get rid of these blocks gently and easily is Reiki. And you can book a session with me anytime through my website. So if you just go to carriejocala.com, specifically I think it's carriejocala.com/Reiki, but you'll also see a tab for it right there on the main page. You can go book a session. And if you can't find a time that works for you on my best case scenario calendar that's up, just reach out and DM me, and there's very possibly, I can't guarantee for sure, but there's very possibly a slot that I can finagle open for you. And we can go in and do this work together. During the session, all it requires of you is meditating, and I help you do that. And then after the session, it's up to you. I can't tell you how many sessions it'll take for this thing or that thing to be released, because all of it is so individual. In an ideal world, yeah, we can clear this out in one session. Whatever it is, I believe that it is possible. But for many of us, a lot of it is very ingrained. It's been part of who we are, and we know we need to let it go, but it's so hard, and it's going to cause disruptions in our life that we also then need to be prepared to deal with. I'm not saying the world's going to come crashing down around you, but you might notice things changing. And even positive change. Sometimes we're not ready for that. If we see ourselves suddenly getting the success that we want, all of a sudden, oh crap, and then all the imposter syndrome stuff comes up and we start worrying that we can't maintain this. That's one of my fears all the time. Is, hey, I had a hit of success, but I'm probably not going to be able to maintain it. So no matter where you are in your journey, I want to say the right way to say this, because there are always plenty of things to uncover, but you shouldn't look at it as if, oh my God, I always need to be healing. Oh my God, I'm always going to be finding something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. This is an intentional journey that we have come here to go on. And all we're doing is following the path and doing the work to make ourselves better. And being or feeling broken is not a requirement to want to get better. You can be doing great and still feel the desire to get better on all levels of your life. Because why would you want to stay stuck even if you're pretty happy? There's always room for growth. I went on a lot longer than I expected to. I guess I had a lot more to say. Well, I think that's a good place to wrap it up. So I would love to see you for a Reiki session. If you have any questions about Reiki at all or how the session goes, last thing to mention is they're all over Zoom. So you don't have to be local to me. But if you are local to me, I have another upcoming block of time. It's a little shorter than some of the blocks I've been available for before, but it is Thursday, October 26th from 4:30 to 6:30. So that leaves room for 2 full sessions, but we can also sneak in some mini sessions, which are about a half hour. So if you want to do an in-person session, those are at Stone and Sage in New Berlin. If you want to do an in-person session, but you're not available for that time slot, don't book a session right away. Come talk to me, and we can make sure there's an opening at a time that works for you, and we can just go in and use the room. So don't be afraid to reach out to if you would like to do in person, but you're not available for these blocks that I do. Just reach out and let me know first, and then we'll get that set up. But if you're interested in doing a Zoom session, which I promise you are amazingly effective, just as much as being in person, you can go ahead and just book that right on the website. If any of this spoke to you, again, please feel free to share it. If you share it on Instagram, please make sure you tag me at I am Carrie Jokala, and be sure to leave a 5-star rating and a positive review to help the algorithm boost this podcast, to show it as an option to more people as something that they might like to listen to. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you next time.